Hey gang, this is Logan on Mostly Superheroes, the podcast, talking to you about a TV show I just finished on HBO Max. From the Stephen King universe comes a TV show called It, Welcome to Derry. Have you seen It, the movies? Have you read It by Stephen King? Welcome to a spinoff with season 1 debuting in 2025. In 1962, a couple move their son to Derry, Maine, just as a young boy disappears. With their arrival, very bad things begin to happen in the town. This is IMDb helping us out, and the cast is ranging from Jovan Adipo, Bill Skarsgård, Taylor Page, Stephen Ryder, Matilda Lawler, Amanda Christine, Clara Stack, Blake Cameron James, and many more. Right now, the show is hovering at a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, and I have seen season 1. That's your spoiler-free take right there, just giving you some info on it. It was developed for television and written by Jason Fuchs. We are, of course, based on the Stephen King novel here, but Stephen King did not write or partake in this other than giving it a thumbs up and a seal of approval. Andy Muschietti developed the show for TV. You'll recognize Andy Muschietti from working on The Flash with Ezra Miller, as well as Barbara Muschietti working on this as well. Story editor Godalis del Carmen, story editor Jasmine Flournoy, and writer Brad Kane, writer Austin Guzman, Gabriel Hobson, Cord Jefferson, and Helen Shang. Getting into my take on the series, giving you that spoiler alert, like we said, getting into the details. I just saw this show. I'm a Stephen King fan. I've read a lot of the books, including It, and this one, I love the movie, It, as well. The 2-part series movie was excellent, and when this show was announced, and I knew that Stephen King wasn't directly a writer on the show, I just, you question it. Is this going to be good? Is this going to fit into a Stephen King universe? And also, what is a show called It, Welcome to Derry? And I'll say right off the bat, you do need to know a little bit of the lore for It, and mainly just the movies, I would say, would be very helpful. The newest It movies would be helpful, as the storyline revolves very much around the origin story of It and Pennywise the Clown, and takes place about 30 years before the events of the movie It. And so it's 1950s Derry, and getting into spoilers and just talking about my take on the film or the show, I loved it. I loved it so much. They've introduced a character. We've talked about spoiler alert. We already said it. So if you've seen it, you're here with me. Dick Halloran is here, and you'll recognize Dick from The Shining. He helps out Danny over at the Overlook Hotel and teaches Danny about the shine. Here in this show, It, Welcome to Derry, you got Dick Halloran, a younger, Dick Halloran in Derry with the military, who's there, helping them discover what the creature is in Derry, maybe have a plot to try to trap it and use it and weaponize it. And he is full-blown, psychic, and they really get to show some amazing visuals with Dick Halloran. Also, the kids on this cast are outstanding, really great young cast, along with the parents and the adults in the show. You got James Remar in the show playing a general that, they do flashbacks to even 60 years before It. Presumably 30 years before this show, It, Welcome to Derry, where this general, played by James Remar, he was in Derry when he was a kid and actually saw the creature. But as we have learned through the Derry lore, you don't remember things that you experience in Derry or when you were a kid. And this is how this thing has always fed. And, who is Pennywise the Clown? You're going to find out in this show, the full-blown origin story of not just Pennywise, but also the creature and the lights and where did this, under the sewers where it has its home base. And from what I can remember from the book, they pull right from that in terms of the origin story of it. And again, full spoiler alert for the folks that have seen it. I mean, it's an alien. I mean, it's a full-blown alien from outer space and has crazy powers, and it calls itself a world eater, and it's eaten many worlds. And I remember from the book, it's been around for a millennia, forever. And this show gets right into that, and we also learn more about there's some kind of time travel stuff in it with the kids and the adults, and there's always like this kind of perception of time as the people in Derry see it, but then as Pennywise or the creature it see it. This show, man, they pretty much just reveal that it says to one of the kids in the show that he does have the perception of all time. Not only that, he holds up a missing kid poster of a future child that hasn't been born yet, Richie, from the movies. Plays the same, I forget the actor's name, but he plays Mike in Stranger Things. He played Richie. They bring that storyline in the way of Pennywise saying, I can see the future, I see the past, I see the present all at the same time. Your kids, these kids that are fighting Pennywise in this current show, Welcome to Derry, they're the parents of the kids in the movie. And he says, like, your kids take me down. And he has the opportunity here to, like, perhaps take these kids down. And again, we've given it that spoiler alert. He doesn't. And with the help of Dick Halloran, the help of the local Native American tribe that has been fighting this thing for hundreds of years, we find out, help put what's the storyline here? The pillars of these black shard pillars that are a part of the alien spacecraft that came with it to Earth. This is like classic kryptonite. Like the Pennywise doesn't like to be around it. It's like a weakness for him. And the Native Americans figured out if we just keep all these pillars buried around Derry, it'll stay trapped. And that was, this is a major storyline revealing that, like, they've trapped this thing in Derry for so long. It is trapped there. That's why it feeds in this cycle, and then it has to rest. And then we learn in this show what would happen if that gate, those pillars were gone, and it's not pretty. He does begin to devour the whole world, the whole town, and he's kind of collecting, he goes from collecting 1 to 2 kids at a time to 100 kids at a time, and adults. He's killing all the adults, and the whole town is, the smoke. Oh my gosh, the smoke of showing how it would spread. And one storyline I did not really understand very clearly was the general's point of using it as a weapon. He gives a speech to what's his name? Hannon. They had Hannon and Halloran. That got a little confusing, but I think it was because they were setting up, isn't Mike Hanlon? Mike Hanlon, isn't that the kid from the future, from the movie? Maybe like they were trying, is this his dad, the young kid? Getting off track here. Just that was the part that confused me, was James Remar, the general, gives a speech saying America is isolated and all these things that are true. Like they're not talking to each other, and there's, we need more order and less chaos. He's going to use it to do this, and his plan was, destroy one of the pillars, essentially letting down the guardrails, let it leave, even meets it, Pennywise, face to face in the finale, amazing finale, and says, like, you're free to go. I'm not really following what his goal was. Like, what else is this thing going to do besides just terrorize and eat people? I don't really understand what you think is going to be helpful about this. And he gets what's coming to him. Epic finale. On the ice, it has frozen the river. The kids put the pillar back. Dick Halloran actually is able to, like, control Pennywise just a little bit by using his psychic abilities to make him freeze. That was pretty cool, getting inside Pennywise's head. And it's, closes the chapter. They kill it. They don't kill it. They defeat it this time. And like the lady says, the Native American lady says, this isn't over. It's just starting. This was just one chapter. But the show ends with chapter 1. This is chapter 1. And then it had an end credit scene, really. Just go into the full end here. Fully connecting it to the It movies with a nice little, I call it a cameo of The actor's name, the redhead actor that was in the It movies, the child actor. It's like 26 years have gone by. Here we are, and things are kicking off. And so it's like, is she going to be in the next show? There is going to be a next show. It looks like it's already been approved from what I'm reading, scheduled maybe potentially for 2027. I say yes. Holy cow, this show checked the boxes. It was more epic than I could have imagined, and I also now realize I need a Dick Halloran spinoff show or movie. And oh man, really cool little connection at the end big connection. Where does Dick Halloran go at the end of all this after helping defeat it? He says he's got a cooking job. An old friend has hooked him up with a cooking job, and it's just an old hotel. How bad could it be? And this is the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. Jack Nicholson and his son Danny. Danny meets Dick Halloran, who teaches him about the Shine. And it's like, man, are we going to get like a lot of years in between? Could we get another Dick Halloran spinoff or him back in this It show? I don't know if he's going to come back to the It show, but maybe he does. They've opened up kind of the Stephen King universe. And man, this was top tier. And watching it like kind of alongside Stranger Things season 5 coming out, you felt some parallels of how Eleven's powers work and stuff. But like Stephen King is the OG, and Dick Halloran's one of the OG psychics that I've learned about reading the Stephen King books. And in pure Stephen King fashion, kind of like the originator of the interconnected universe. Like, I'm not saying he originated that, but his books are really good at that. If you're a fan of the Dark Tower series, it basically culminates all the books he's written up to that point. And now we're seeing it on screen. And this was miles better than some recent stuff that we've seen that was Stephen King, in the big screen. Dr. Sleep, The Long Walk, Scotty said wasn't great. I didn't see that one, but Dr. Sleep could have been a lot better. But anyway, here we are. Welcome to Derry. A huge win. Going to call this a 4.0 out of 4.0. There's nothing wrong with this at all. Every episode was epic, and the finale was a big payoff. Can't wait for season 2. This was another addition to our best of 2025. Go see it now. Welcome to Derry on HBO Max.